Saturday, 23rd April, the Gap News This Morning, broadcasting live from Kuala Lumpur, I'm Ghazali Abdullah. Good morning. First the headlines. At 4 ringgit 30 cent to a US dollar, ringgit at its lowest since May 2020. Cradle Fund CEO killed in stage crime, says DPP. Fake Petronas lucky draw ad contains malware, says police. Ukraine war, UN must help evacuate Mariupol, says Ukraine's deputy PM. Shanghai escalates COVID lockdown restrictions. And bowling, Malaysia sends second team to Hanoi, targets 1 goal. And now the news in full. The ringgit has on Friday dropped to 4.308 against the US dollar, the weakest on record since May 2020. It continued its decline from the previous day when it closed at 4.289. The ringgit hit its previous low when it traded at 4.348 against the US dollar on May 1, 2020, The Edge reported. According to Bank Islam chief economist Nizam Abdul Rashid, the ringgit's performance would remain poor leading up to May 3rd and 4th, when the United States Federal Open Market Committee meeting would be held. The death of Cradle Fund CEO Nazrin Hassan is a stage crime, as revealed by a forensic pathologist who conducted the second post-mortem, the High Court was told Friday. Deputy Public Prosecutor Tunku Intan Suraya Tunku Ismail said Dr. Prashant Naresh Sambekar testified that there was evidence Nazrin's body was shifted and an irregular pattern was found at the back of the corpse. She said the 50th prosecution witness had also testified that there was a dry bloodline on the left shoulder of the deceased. The evidence is consonant with that of bomb expert Saad Muhammad Nasir from the police, she said in a submission at the close of the prosecution's case. Tunku Intan said Saad had also given evidence that Nazrin's BlackBerry S2 mobile phone did not explode, as claimed by the defense. Further, she said Saad's testimony was corroborated with that of Fire and Rescue Service Department officers Abdul Halim Zulkifli and Edwin Galan Anak Teruki. Halim and Edwin had testified that they found 3 fires of origin at the crime scene, she said. She said Ros Diana Sudarto from the same department, who conducted an X-ray examination on the mobile phone, also revealed that the device had not exploded. Tunku Intan, who prosecuted the trial together with DPPs Asnawi Abu Hanifa and Nur Sabrina Subairi, said Energy Commission officer Abdul Rahim Wanchi had stated that the electrical system in the house was in good condition and functioning well. There could not be any short circuit nor any issue of an overcharged mobile phone, she said. She said the conduct of the 3 accused persons and their Indonesian maid Eka Wahyu Lestari reveal knowledge of the crime based on the last seen together theory. Meanwhile, Defense Counsel Shafi Abdullah said Prashant's evidence could not be relied upon because his testimony on additional opinion contradicted the first post-mortem carried out by forensic pathologist Dr. Siu Shu Feng. He admitted that he formed the opinion a few days before he testified and after a meeting with the prosecution, Shafi said. He said a lot of key findings by Siu could not be corroborated by Prashant because of the decomposition of the body when the second post-mortem was carried out. Shafi submitted that the prosecution consistently made a bare assertion that it was a stage crime scene, but failed to define or elaborate what they meant by stage and for what it encompassed. For example, is the prosecution claiming that the staging was for an accident or phone explosion? With this ambiguity itself, the prosecution's submission about stage crime scene ought to be dismissed, he said. Shafi said Samira was also asked by a police officer, Sergeant Abdul Rahim Taha, whether she heard an explosion, and she said no. If Samira wanted to cover up a murder with an accident or stage an accident, Samira would have said yes, that there was an explosion. In fact, on June 15, 2018, news about the fire and the phone exploding was already out in public, he said. He also said the police stated they could not locate the maid, but it was revealed that she was found working in a coffee shop in Sarawak. Judge Abdul Karim Abdul Rahman will deliver his ruling on May 30th. A total of 57 witnesses testified in the trial, which started on September 6, 2019. On March 12, 2019, Samira Muzaffar and two teenagers, now aged 19 and 16, as well as an Indonesian woman, Eka Wahyu Lestari, who is still at large, are all charged with murdering Nazrin at his house in Mutiara Damansara between 11:30 p.m. on June 13, 2018 and 4 a.m. the following day. Police have issued a warning not to click on a widely shared link advertising a lucky draw supposedly organized by Petronas. Bukit Aman's Director of Commercial Crime Investigations, Kamaruddin Muhammadin, said the link, which has been circulated through chat messages, would take users to a phishing website. After clicking on the link, users will be asked to answer 4 simple survey questions that are believed to be designed for the purpose of obtaining user data, he said in a statement yesterday. Kamaruddin said after answering all the questions, users were required to send the link to 20 other people, and further review found that the website was fake and had nothing to do with Petronas. As a precautionary measure, Kamaruddin advised the public not to browse the content of the website because it is believed to contain trojans and malware that can harm the data stored on users' devices. Thank you for being with us in this podcast group. You are listening to The Gap News, coming to you from Kuala Lumpur with reports from Free Malaysia Today, The Vibes and the BBC World Service. The Gap News is also available on the internet news portal Melaka Hari Ini. More to come, news from the international front. Ukraine War. The evacuation of about 100,000 people trapped in Mariupol will only succeed with the UN's help, Ukraine Deputy Prime Minister tells the BBC. Erna Bereshuk's comments came prior to news that UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres will meet Vladimir Putin in Moscow on Tuesday. There is a realistic possibility the war in Ukraine could continue until the end of next year, UK PM Boris Johnson says. European Council President Charles Michel highlights Russia's miscalculations and losses in the war during a phone call with Vladimir Putin. Russia is prepared to allow fighters at the Azovstal steelworks in Mariupol to leave the plant, Russia's defense ministry reportedly says. Moscow aims to take full control of southern Ukraine as well as the Donbas region, a senior Russian military commander is quoted as saying. Authorities in Shanghai have said they will tighten the enforcement of lockdown measures as the COVID surge continues in China's financial capital. New measures include placing electronic door alarms to prevent those infected from leaving, as well as evacuating people to disinfect their homes. Earlier this week, hundreds were forcibly evacuated from their homes to allow for buildings to be disinfected. The restrictions will take Shanghai's lockdown into its 5th week. Shanghai city officials said all infected patrons and close contacts will be transferred to government-run centralized quarantine. In addition, disinfection measures will be escalated in some of the city's worst-hit areas. This will likely mean some residents will be forced to move out temporarily, including those who have tested negative. The move comes days after people in 2 other Shanghai communities, Bechai and Pingwang, were ordered to leave their residences for temporary accommodations. And now for some sports news. The national bowling squad is targeting at least 1 gold medal as the team will be represented by the second squad at the SEA Games in Hanoi, Vietnam from May 12 to 23rd. Malaysia's chef de mission to the Hanoi SEA Games, Datuk Nur Azmi Ahmad, said the target is realistic considering this is the first time the country is sending the second team to the biennial games. At least 1 gold medal is clear for bowling. Additional medals would be a bonus. With the spirit of our young kegglers, we hope they would perform well to return with more medals, and I do not want to put them under unnecessary pressure, he said. He told reporters after checking up the training session of the national bowling squad at Sunway Mega Lane, Sunway Pyramid on Friday. Nur Azmi said the decision to send the second squad to the championship was timely for them to acquire the experience and skills. To end the bulletin, here are the headlines again. At 4 ringgit 30 cents to a US dollar, ringgit at its lowest since May 2020. Cradle Fund CEO killed in stage crime, says DPP. Fake Petronas lucky draw ad contains malware, says police. Ukraine war. UN must help evacuate Mariupol, says Ukraine's deputy PM. Shanghai escalates COVID lockdown restrictions. And bowling, Malaysia sends second team to Hanoi, targets 1 goal. This has been the Gap News this morning, Saturday, 23rd April, with reports from Free Malaysia Today, The Vibes and the BBC World Service. The Gap News is also available on the internet news portal Melaka Hari Ini. We hope you found the bulletin informative. We welcome hearing from you. If you do have the opportunity, please do write in. We would certainly love to hear from you. Podcasting live from Kuala Lumpur, I'm Ghazali Abdullah.